I just wanted to cry a bit. I'm seeing a lot of my homies and mutuals. I can't really be calling them that because, yeah, y'all don't. Do y'all even get that slang? Whatever. Anyway, to ramble a bit because freaking I can't get cheerleader. I've been trying to get her this whole time. I literally have done 40 roles or something like that. Something around that area, and it's making me so butthurt. I'm just like, have I done 40 or 30? It's between those two. I didn't get 100 dices because I, ran out of time, and I didn't feel like rolling. I'm not gonna lie. I know it's rich coming from me. It's just like, girl, you could have at least gotten 20. I did get 20. I got 20 luckily because I had 60, but I just didn't roll for 100. Anyways, moving on from that, I wanted to talk about our boy here, Wujiu. Talk about Shay and Fan. Is it Fan or Fan? Respectfully, I believe it's Fan, but if anybody wants to correct me, please do so. And y'all can join me while I do research and some stuff that was already discovered, and I'll elaborate info about these two guards and their jobs and all that. Based on the research I did, apparently they're called the Heibai Wujiu, also known as the Black and White Impermanence. Yeah, let me type that out. I'm sorry, I keep cutting off. Basically, the Chinese gods of mercy and judgment, and they lead souls into the Chinese underworld. Deities of Chinese folk religion, aka Chinese folklore, and in charge of escorting the spirits of the dead to the underworld. As their name suggests, they are dressed in black and white respectfully. I read real fast, and as I'm doing more research on them, the reason why they're called Wujiu, or aka Heibai Wujiu, they were once a pair of very close friends, as they showed in IDV. They go by Shay Ban and Fan Wujiu. So anybody who says they're siblings, no, they're not. They're best friends, and they really care for each other. And it's funny, they're both equally tall, but in the folklore, Shay was actually the tall one, pale, slim, and Van was the short one, dark and stocky, which actually goes with the fact that he's more slower in terms of chasing the survivor, and Shay is more faster, but he's also more slower because he's, I guess in a way, a graceful version of death. He probably guides the souls to the underworld. I will look that up actually. Basically, Shay Ban. I'm trying to pronounce it respectfully, y'all. Please bear with me. He's the one who guides souls gracefully and brings them to a peaceful death. Fan, who is known for being aggressive towards a few of the survivors, with the way he swings. Basically, he is the one who reaps what people sow. If you commit a crime, he's not gonna be as merciful as he is with Shan. He is not merciful. He's just doing his job. So yeah. In other cultures, which is Southeast Asian countries, Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia, they are known as the first and second masters, or first and second uncles. And in Taiwan, they are called the seventh and eighth masters. They have different names and alternate names in other parts of the country of Asia. I really called Asia a country when it's a continent. I apologize, y'all. I need to brush up on my geography, as y'all can tell. Can't believe I called Asia a freaking country. Disappointment. Make a big deal out of it. With all due respect, Asia's a continent, and it's a beautiful big continent, as well as their folklore and mythology in it. As how they're portrayed in IDV, the white guard, Shay, is always commonly portrayed as a fair complexioned man dressed in a white robe, wearing a tall hat, and bearing the Chinese words, "Become rich upon encountering me." So he does basically give people peace when it comes to death, and anytime people meet him, it's more like a good thing in their case. Same with Fan when it comes to the hat, but he's typically represented as a dark complexioned man dressed in a black robe and wearing a hat similar to the one worn by White Guard. And the Chinese words on his hat are peace to the world or arresting you right now. And he holds a fan in one hand and a squarish wooden side on the other hand. The sign bears the words making a clear distinction between good and evil. And Shay, they both, as stated before, they're guards, but they guide souls, and they're meant to like keep the peace when it comes to taking people to the underworld. They have to literally see who's gonna like go off in peace and who's gonna like not go in peace. Like they'll be arrested. And speaking of which, some statues of them depict them with ferocious snarls on their faces, or they like have their long red tongues out just to scare away evil spirits. However, sometimes they have different facial expressions. The White Guard will always look friendly and approachable, while the Black Guard looks stern and fierce. And if you guys don't remember the story of how Shay and Fan were heading home together, but there was a rain and all that stuff, there's actually two stories that I will be reading to you guys. One day, the White Guard was on patrol when he saw a woman and 2 children crying in front of a grave. He asked what happened. The woman was the daughter of a wealthy merchant who owned 4 shops. She was born with smallpox, which affected her physical appearance. Her mother died in depression after feeling guilty for what happened to her daughter. The merchant had a cunning servant who knew that no man would want to marry his master's daughter because of her appearance. The servant considered that if he married her, he would inherit his master's wealth when his master died. So he pretended to like his master's daughter and eventually married her. She had 2 children with him. The servant revealed his true colors later. He neglected the kids, his family, and treated them with contempt, and spent his time indulging in other pleasures like gambling. The merchant regretted his decision to marry his daughter to his servant and died in frustration. He felt angry after hearing the story and decided to help the woman. When she returned home, she met a man who wanted to collect gambling debt owed from her husband. After she paid him, he tried to attack her because she was alone. She shoved him away and locked herself away in a room. She cried over her plight and tried to, end it all. I advised her, "Why are you thinking of taking your own life? Why don't you pack your belongings and leave this place for good with your children? They need you to take care of them and raise them." She not only heeds his words, but after they left, he burnt down all the shops that were owned by the servant. And the servant lost all his inherited fortune, and she was gone and safe and away from him. And another story, before they became guardians of the underworld, and of peace and justice, the story of Heibai Wujiu says that Shay and Fan used to work together as constables in a Yemen. One day, a convict they were escorting to another location escaped during the journey. They decided to split up in search of the convict, and ended up having a delayed meetup because they were supposed to meet under the bridge. Wujiu, who was on time, waited under the bridge, which caused the heavy rain to flood the area under the bridge, and he refused to leave because he was waiting for Shay, but he ended up drowning. He was keeping his promise. When Shay arrived, he was so saddened to see that Fan had drowned. He committed the skull, and the Jade Emperor was deeply impressed by their friendship, so he appointed them as guardians of the underworld. As I continue reading, I'm reading more of this. It says in popular culture, the Avatar The Last Airbender features a giant panda spirit named Heibai who takes one of the main characters into the spirit world. Doesn't that sound familiar? It's those 2. And then, as I was doing research, it literally shows that that NetEase Gaming literally portrays them as well. I just found that amazing, and I hope you guys did too. I hope you all enjoyed this video because I literally was struggling to talk and I was stuttering like no tomorrow. And the best part to all this is that I learned so much from this. This is why we all need to do research on these cultures that NetEase portrays in IDV, because oh my goodness, I've learned so much just by doing research than history has taught me. And I promise you, they probably wouldn't even teach us about these two at all. Bye, Whittles.